We are live and we are hanging out. Welcome into the Benches Cleared podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the San Francisco Giants, who have a better record than the Dodgers.
And I'm Dave, representing the Dodgers side, who has one eye on the Luka game, playing against Dallas today, and not so much worried about spring training. Not too worried about the spring training. That's, the record.
Why are you not worried about spring training? Everyone knows that your spring training record matters more than anything.
Hey, have the champs of the league or whatever, the Cactus League or whatever, have they gone on to make the playoffs most of the time? I mean, I haven't looked that up at all.
Good question. That's a really good question. I wonder. I know for a fact that there's been a couple of times where like the A's have won it. So I can't say it's definitely not every time. I don't know if it's ever happened. If anyone's gone through a clean sweep of spring training, World Series, and a regular World Series, if you just call it a regular World Series, whatever you want to say. But I don't know. And maybe we should know. Maybe that's, up our wheelhouse. And when you're doing the research and the man hours, but we don't know. I don't even think they keep records who the spring training winners are for the past 10 years. Is that something that you can even look up?
I mean, does anybody even watch spring training past like the fifth inning? Does anybody really stick it out? There's no way I would know those stats.
I mean, I like watching like the young guys that you see box scores of because I follow some minor league stuff. But unless you're a true weirdo, probably not. In all honesty, I think after 2 weeks of spring training, you're kind of over it. I think it only takes you just a couple weeks, then you're like, all right, let's do some real games now. I'm done.
I mean, yeah, unless there's like a roster spot that somebody's fighting for or something, you're not really too interested in it, Especially with the Dodgers, I don't think there's much of a question mark anywhere, besides maybe a spot or two in the bullpen. So that's probably the only interesting part of the game. Everything else is pretty much set. So, you're just hoping everybody gets out healthy. That's pretty much the name of the game, dude.
Right.
Get out of it healthy and start the season.
Is that even? I don't know. I question sometimes when they say there's spring training competition. I feel like they already know who they want for that position, to be honest with you. I'm not sure how legit these actual competitions are.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. You're right. I don't know, Kim and them, I don't know. I don't know if he's really starting at second base. Now they're using Edman there a lot. So maybe he plays center field or whatever. But I'm sure they have an idea already, Right. So yeah, you got to do something drastic for them to change their mind, because they probably already have a plan going into spring training with what they want to leave with. So yeah, even that you probably, but we're making it seem like it's boring. I mean, I know it's boring, but baseball's back, dude. We've missed it.
Yes. I'm excited for spring training because they're still in the first 2 weeks. We haven't even, and that's another thing that I think I wanted to get into too, is the fact that the Giants want us to care about the Giants, but they don't even care about the Giants, to the fact that they don't even show their spring training games. It's almost disrespectful to be like, oh, we're back. We're excited. Come watch the games. Oh, but we're not going to be able to show them to you. You just have to listen to them on the radio. Come on, do the old school
they're
way.
like, hey, man, you guys are going to see them lose plenty in the regular season. Hold on. Let's hold off a little bit. And they're doing you a favor. That's pretty much it.
That's true. I mean, they started off hot 2-0, and now they're 2-2, which I believe is still a better record than the Dodgers. I think they've only won one spring training game.
Yes.
So
we beat the Padres.
I'm not going to say that we're a better team. I'm just going to say our record reflects that we're a better team. You know what I mean?
In the Cactus League, I hope you guys win all the awards, dude. I will root for you in the Cactus League. Go for it, dude.
Will you?
Thank you. I won't root for you, but I won't care if you win. It's not a big deal.
You'll let it slide.
I'll be able to sleep at night if you guys win.
Well, there's a lot of spring training storylines, and we'll get into that in a minute. I'm really curious on how you're feeling about these this. I guess they're calling it the ABS system, automatic balls and strike system, or whatever. I'm not sure if you've seen much of it. I know I haven't because I've only been able to watch one spring training game, and there wasn't a challenge that entire time. So, have you seen the clips? Do you like the clips? Do you hate the clips? How do you feel about the clips?
I mean, for now, I really don't have I don't feel one way or the other. I do believe had it been in place, like not a lot of the World Series run, but some calls would have been different. I think the Dodgers still win the World Series, but I'm sure that Gleyber Torres pitch, I think it was in the 7th inning, where like it was clearly a ball, and they gave the call to the pitcher, and we got the strikeout. So I think in that situation, it changes it. Who knows how that inning goes after that? But I think there's going to be a lot of testing it, because what if you get rid of it in the first couple innings? You know what I mean? Like, and then it's not there for. I mean, so I don't know. There's still a lot of stuff to go through, but I don't hate it. It's not like it's really stopping the game all that much as you'd probably think it would, but it's really fast. So.
The turnaround isn't bad. Yeah, I thought the turnaround would have been really bad, but it really isn't. It's pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, it's quicker than the other replays, so I don't hate it. Yeah, like...
Right.
I don't know...
do you trust only certain people? Like, if you were in charge of, I don't know, I guess the manager technically is in charge of that situation, is that something that you'd be like, hey... only one, like someone who knows the strike zone, you're allowed to do it. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy. That's it? Or who else? I mean, are you just kind of like free range?
Not even that.
What did you, baby?
I think like if we have, I think it's 2, right? You have two challenges for now.
2 challenges, but I think that if you get it right, they go back. Like you don't lose it.
Yeah. So I think like if anything, I'd be like, hey man, let's wait till like the 6th inning before we make any challenges. Like let's wait till the game is potentially in the balance. Like I don't want you to challenge it in the 2nd inning, nobody on. Like, nah, you know what I mean? Like let's wait till later on in the game and then waste them there or whatever. But yeah, you have to give it to certain players. Like, hey, you guys have the green light at all times if you guys think it's a strike or wasn't a strike. But other guys like, hey, Barnes or whoever it is, like, the 8th batter, like, it's okay. Just take the strike. Like, so yeah, I mean, there's certain players. I think Roberts joked about it and said Muncy wasn't allowed to do it because he's always arguing balls and strikes. So, there would have been,
but he's like a walking extraordinaire. Like, I feel like he's the guy to do it. But quickly, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us in the chat. We're going to be answering questions and hanging out. Feel free to give us your opinions, and we'll bring it up and talk about it. But yeah, I think that Brandon Belt is probably really pissed because he had a great strike zone and never and would have loved this. I do think, I'm not sure you would give it to Lamont Wade. He's a guy who knows the strike zone well. I don't know. I haven't watched Willy Adames a crazy amount to know if he's like good at telling what a ball and like, like there's some players who get really pissed off on a strikeout when you're like, oh, that looked pretty good to me. But I don't know anybody else who really on the Giants knows the strike zone that well that you would give free range to. But it's like, are you not going to use it? Are you going to loot? I don't know. That's weird.
But are you like in favor of where it's headed? Are you in favor of where this is headed? With perhaps
I like it if it stops here. I like it if it stops here.
Right? I think so too. If they want to up the amount of challenges or whatever it is, I'd be fine, because I still don't think it impacts it all that much. Like, it doesn't stop the game all that much, and it could help in a big situation. But like, to have it just be that, I don't know. I'd still need the umpires back there, even though we hate them. It's still that human element that you kind of need for the game.
You need them to have an excuse why your team lost, though. Like you, like there's no, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a lot of just fans having to deal with the fact their team sucks versus being like, oh, we would have won if this one call wasn't reversed. Like some people's whole personality, like Carlos Rodon's wife used to always do this. And there's a couple people on Twitter who just love to post, a ball that's maybe like an inch outside that gets called a strike and be like, oh, dude, what the hell? And it's like, it's not really that egregious. You're just crying.
Well, if you're doing it all the time, I understand that. But when it's egregious, you have to post
yes.
it. Like there's some that are hilariously bad. And then you're like, this guy's having a horrible game. Like, what is going on? But yeah, I don't think you can just post every single at bat. Like that's too much.
Yeah. All day. It's like I said, it's people's personalities, some people online. But I think one thing that's really going to hurt the Giants is the fact that Patrick Bailey is a strike stealing extraordinaire. And in this way, you still are benefiting from it a lot. But I think some of the egregious ones are just going to get overturned.
Yeah, see, like we're in two different sides of the spectrum here because Will Smith, that's the spot that he doesn't do so well when it comes to framing, so that would help him. Right. But yeah, it would take away from Bailey. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it ends up. We won't have it this year, right? But it is going to come into play the following year, I think.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. It's just Major League Baseball trying to help the Dodgers again.
And you know what?
You don't have a good enough framer. Let's figure this out for the Dodgers so they can.
And you know what? It's going to be awesome because now that I'm thinking about it, when we play against Logan Webb, oh dude, that guy gets so much two sides of the plate, off the plate, off the other side, and that's going to be like, nah, not anymore, dude. That's clearly
you can't have anything. You just got to have everything. You got to have all the players. And you get to have a strike zone that you can't be manipulated to. That's wild.
Exactly. Hey, you want to play fair, right? So that's what I've been hearing this whole off season.
Fuck playing fair. What's up, Tansy? Thanks for coming back in and hanging out.
What's up, man?
Oh my gosh, dude. That was like our one thing. That was like almost like our calling card. And
that's what you kept trying to bribe free agents with, saying that you guys had the best framer and all this stuff. Well, now it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you say that to a pitcher. Why is that not a selling point for our pitcher?
No. I'm saying like now it doesn't matter. So who cares?
Yeah. Apparently, I guess.
Hey, did you see the Justin Verlander being rolled in on a wheelchair thing?
I did. Justin Verlander being rolled in on a wheelchair. They played laser tag for his birthday. Just turned 42.
I love the fact that they try to play it off as a joke. Like, oh no, it's a joke, but like in reality, like his knees were probably really bothering him.
Yeah,
right? It was too early in the morning, and he's like, oh my god, it's a little cold out here. Wheel me out there.
I just love. I really encourage you talking all the shit you can about Justin Verlander because when he throws like 6 shutout innings, these are the clips I'm gonna have to try to pull out. I'm gonna have to try to remember to save all these little clips and just make a montage of you being like, oh, he's old man. And
but you're acting like I don't know he's a good pitcher. What I'm saying is he's old and he may not last. I've never said he's like a bad pitcher. You showed me the numbers that he's done really well. What I'm saying is he's injured. He got injured last year and he's only getting older. So you have
some
him for
people
a certain
do get
while.
younger though. Have you thought about that? With advances in modern science? Advances in modern science and his high level income, it's not crazy to think he can't be lived to 200 or 300. You know what I mean? It's not crazy.
Not crazy at all.
But you know what it is. So is this where you want it to stop, or do you want Robo umpires to reign free?
I want to see it in the regular season first before I have any kind of thought on it. Because it's in spring training, it's fun, games don't matter, but in 10 situations and maybe the 9th inning or something, and it changes the whole game and you lose by that or something, like we'll see how it feels then. But so let's try it out in the regular season next year, and then we'll have a better opinion on it or how we feel. So I don't know yet. I guess I don't know. Just walking around the question, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'd want to go the other way. I mean, it seems like it's almost so unanimously popular that I feel like there's a chance that Major League Baseball is going to be like, fuck it, let's do it. Just run it through.
I don't know, man. And the only people to blame is the freaking umpires. Like, you have no one to blame but yourself. Do a better job. But
yes, yeah,
I don't know.
I get it.
I mean, what is it going to change later on? And then we're going to have a sensor of who touched the bag first, whether the ball got there or the runner's foot got there first, and no more umpires. It's just a green or red light, and everything's automated. I don't know. Where does it end?
They start with self-checkout lines, and then we're here. This is
you give them an inch.
Downfall society.
We sound like old boomers, just like, hey, no, just leave it the same. I don't. But
I remember in my day, they used to mess up perfect games, and we were cool with it.
I'm gonna be a boomer on this one. I hope it just stays here. I don't hope it goes any further, I guess.
Well, there is a pretty big basketball game going on today. Dan C wanted to tell us about it. Obviously, the Lakers, Luka's playing his old team, but it is in LA though, right?
Yes.
So it's not like it's
this one's gonna be like the appetizer. Like, let me show you what you're missing out on. I'm just gonna go off a little bit, and then when we play in Dallas, that's when I'll take your heart out. That's when all the fans are gonna be rooting for me, and I take your heart out in your own court. This one's just the appetizer.
My gosh. Yeah, that's going to be wild. That is for sure going to be wild. I still can't get over like the more and more they talk about this trade, like it almost seemed like people were trying to talk about how he's just like so out of shape and sucks now. And it almost to the point where you kind of believed it, like something was wrong. And it's just showing that like, no, he's still very good. And
I mean,
I don't know how you come back
in all possible ways so far, the trade's blown up in their face. Like, AD, he showed him what he could be in a couple of the first quarter. Then he got hurt and he hasn't been back since. Meanwhile, Luka is just like feeling himself all of a sudden and feeling more comfortable, and he's just going off. And it's like, I don't get it. Thank you, but I don't get it. He just took you to the finals last year. Like, you can weigh 300. Like, who cares if you're gonna get me that close to a title with a chance to win it? Like, who cares? But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what was going on over there, but thank you.
You know what? I don't know what they were thinking, but you know what? More important things is spring training. Obviously, people are way more excited about spring training than Luka Doncic.
I had my Lakers shirt on a little while ago, but I'm like, all right, we're doing the Dodgers. I just wear
you better change
the Dodgers shirt.
We're doing the Dodgers, I guess.
We're doing all right. But I do have the game right in front of me, so
Yeah. How's it going? Are we looking good?
Yeah, they're looking good.
Yeah. Wish they didn't call it like the NFL. Just do a head tap and show it on the screen. I kind of hate that now. When they they gave the umpires mics, and they were like, "Oh, they're gonna explain what happened," and they didn't explain shit. Like they would just be like, San Francisco's challenging the safe call at second. And they would just go, call is overturned. Like, I thought you were going to tell me, like, it was too close to overturn or, like, give a little bit of context. They didn't tell you anything. So, I don't know. I feel like that part.
I feel like there was certain umpires that did that. And then all of a sudden, everybody was just like, we're just going to say the call. We're not even going to give you any context or whatever. But, yeah. I like the whole NFL. My favorite part of the NFL is when the referees throw the flag or whatever, and then there's like 5 to 10 seconds where they don't have their mic on, and they're like, you're like just talking or whatever. You're like, just say what you're gonna say, man. Like, it takes forever. They're like,
we're waiting for a hot mic moment.
Yeah, we need some of that in the MLB, man.
Right? Yeah, that'd be nice. Also, when your algorithm on Instagram, specifically Pacific League, gets at you about these $25 jerseys made in China, they actually kind of work. This isn't bad. Just so you know, it's worth a $25 gamble. Just trying to help you guys out. That's it.
It doesn't say Nike. It says nice or what?
That's a point. Does it say Nike?
Yeah,
This is Nike. It says Nike. We're good. I'm just telling you. You want to save some money? Do it.
Hey man, because it's crazy now with like the Lakers and the Dodgers tickets. So if you got to save money, save it somewhere. Yeah,
you got to save it somewhere. You know, you can make your own jerseys on there, and you know, I mean, the Dodgers sign everyone, so you can pretty much just get a head start on getting your Luis Robert jersey, your Vladimir Guerrero Jr. jersey, your Kyle Tucker jersey. Just get every time now.
Every time that people say that the sport's going to end when, every time we're going to get a new player or they're going to stop watching as soon as we sign someone, like I can't even name anybody like that would sound ridiculous. Like if we got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. next year, like you wouldn't even bat an eye because, okay, yeah, it's the Dodgers. They get everybody. And,
yeah.
So,
we're going to put Vladimir Guerrero back at third, I guess. He hasn't played there in like 4 years or 5 years, but
nobody cares about his defense. Just bring him over for the offense.
No, you're putting Mookie Betts at shortstop. Like I don't.
And what have you heard during spring training? Not a single word. Why? Because he's making all the throws. He's making the plays. Like he looks good, and that's good. We're not hearing anything about it. That means he's doing a good job. So
I don't know. I'm telling you, if he's doing a good job, you guys would be crying about it.
Well, there's no spectacular plays to be made just yet. I mean, I haven't seen him. All the chances he's got is just regular routine plays, and and those were the ones he was messing up before with the throws, and he looks much better this year. So, hey, everything's quiet, so it's all right. He's gonna shut up a lot of people, dude. Everybody thinks that he's just gonna be this error machine. Nah, dude. He had a whole
error machine
off season
think he's not going to be a good shortstop. I mean, you tell me you're talking to me about Justin Verlander sucks. He's 42. Blah blah. Mookie Betts is what 32 maybe.
So not even close to 38. Okay. I don't see the comparison here.
I'm trying to get there, but I want to know his exact age. What's his age?
You got to tell me. I don't know his age. I'll look it up.
Yeah, you're gonna make me baseball reference Mookie Betts. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard of in my life.
He is 32.
He is 32. 32. You tell me what 32-year-old goes from an outfield position to one of the main defensive positions.
A middle infield. You can say it. Middle infield.
Well, the premier defensive positions I would say is more shortstop and like center field. So what 32-year-old goes from right field to a premier defensive position of shortstop and is gonna be good?
A premier athlete. So the best athlete on the team.
Well, because he can pull a 300, we think he can be a shortstop. That's what you're telling me?
He can play short. He can play. We saw him play second. It's not like he was so horrible at second. Like we saw him play the infield before.
We're gonna lie. We're gonna lie on this YouTube universe and say that second base is the same as shortstop.
This is gonna be a good clip. Like in the same episode that you think I'm talking crap about Verlander when I'm just saying the truth. We're gonna clip this part 2 about you talking about Mookie saying that he's so old that he can't move positions, that he's not going to do well.
I didn't say he was so old. I said what 32-year-old goes from right field and goes to a premier position and gets better defensively?
Mookie Betts. That's the 30.
That's wild. That is wild.
I don't know, man. I think he's going to be solid there. I don't think he's going to be on the bottom of the list.
Verlander won a Cy Young 3 years ago. All right.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All I'm saying is Mookie's going to shut up a lot of people, dude. That's all I'm saying.
He's been training with Troy Tulowitzki. So I could train with Troy Tulowitzki. Doesn't mean I'm going to be a good shortstop.
Troy Tulowitzki. See, I'm saying.
So you hang out with Troy Tulowitzki, that all of a sudden that makes you a good shortstop because you have Troy Tulowitzki's number in your phone.
I'm sure you'll pick something up. I'm sure you'll be able to do something that you didn't do before that you learned, but it doesn't mean you'll do it at the level that Mookie Betts can do it. Like, what are you talking about? What are we doing?
So what you're saying is I got a chance to make the team. Put me in, coach.
I mean, the way
Giants could call.
The Giants are maybe, yeah. Yeah,
we need a short. Hey, we need a backup shortstop. We're gonna get into that a little bit later.
Yeah. We're not trying to win games, Jesse. So do you mind playing shortstop for us?
All right, let's talk about spring training. Let's do some spring training. Like, this is getting off the rails. This is getting ridiculous. This is getting crazy. Oh my gosh. I wanted to move on, but this is where we're going right now. This is where we're going right now. A Gold Glove at shortstop when Willy Adames is. Get out of here. Get out of here, Dan. Get out of here, dude. I'm just joking. Don't leave, but you know what I mean. Get out of here, dude. I don't know.
How many errors did Adames had last year?
He had a lot actually last year.
Yeah, so I bet that this year they'll have around the same. Like, it'll even out, and he'll go back to being maybe a little bit better, and I'm sure Mookie will be about the same.
How much do you want to bet?
Look at the year he just had. So it could happen. He had a bad year defensively, or well, not bad defensive, but he had a
one-off year. He's always rates good at shortstop, and now he's 29 in the heart of his prime, and we're talking. This is wild. This is erroneous on all accounts.
It would not surprise me if he has more errors than Mookie.
It would not surprise you because you are a homer. You are a hater. I
am a homer.
Let's talk about some spring training storylines. We are, I don't know, I guess we're kind of in the middle of both ways. Let's stay with the Dodgers. Let's talk about the Dodgers. What's your first storyline that you got going for that you're excited to watch the spring training?
Roki, dude. I'm excited to see Roki. Everybody is. I know he pitched today. Roki. He pitched today.
What happened?
He gave up what? He gave up a home run on his first pitch. Yeah, he gave up. So already a bust, right? Labeled
He's
a bust.
Done.
It's over. I don't know why the Dodgers give him so much money.
He's DFA'd.
Can they hit the refund button? Because and it was to a White Sox. You know what I mean? Like, damn.
There it is. There's all the ammo you need. DFA the guy. He sucks. He's trash.
Yeah, nobody's gonna pick him up, dude.
Nobody. No one wants him.
Nobody will pick him up.
Hell
but no, I hope he plays in a game soon, so we can actually see him. It's televised. Because I know he's starting one of the games in Japan. So,
right.
I just want to see him because today we got to see Blake Snell, and it was really cool to see him in a Dodger uniform. So. I know you see videos and stuff of him just walking around, but he actually got to pitch, so that was cool. And now just, hoping Sasaki does the same.
Yeah, I think it's going to be – I mean, it's wild that you had to throw the Blake Snell thing right here, given all the shit you talked about Blake Snell last year. But
by the way, before we go there, like, has there been a guy that's endeared himself more quickly than Blake Snell to the Dodgers? And not just by, like, oh, he's a Dodger – but like when the fans said something to him, he's like, "Oh, go LA," instead of fighting against them on IG. He was out there, when the Fires were going, whatever they were doing. He was out there, and he's like taking Miller under his wing, and he's really cool with Yamamoto and Sasaki really quick. Like, I don't know. I talked a lot of shit, man. I'm not going to sit up here and deny all the crap that I talked when he was a Padre. When he was a Giant, like, yeah. I am not going to hide from all this
worst free agent move this year. That's what everyone's saying. You gave him the Trump. People are saying it. People are saying it's the worst free agent move. You gave him a Trump.
I did it. Like, I'm not going to hide from any of it. I know I said a bunch of shit. I'm like that Mavs fan that was like trying to dab up Kevin Durant after literally calling him names, and she's like so surprised when he doesn't want to dab her back. But I mean, he's in Dodger blue now. Like, he's one of us now. So
women apologize. Yeah, that's wild.
I am excited, dude. Like, I hated facing this guy. We like almost never had a chance, and it always seemed like the games are so close. We were always there, and he would always beat us. So it's nice to be on this side. I'm just gonna say it.
It's so funny to me the way Dodger fans talk about guys. Like they're just there pitching, or they're there and they crack a smile because they got paid $180 million. And like, oh, look at him. He's just so happy to be a Dodger.
I did not say any of that, though. I didn't say he's so happy to be a Dodger. Well, he is. I'm sure he's happy to be a Dodger. I'm sure he got paid and he's happy where he wanted to be. So I'm sure he's happy to be a Dodger. But I mean, yeah, like it's spring training, you know. Just happy to see him with the rest of the guys, of course. But I don't know.
Guys being dudes?
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, Roki Sasaki, I think besides being DFA'd, I think it is exciting. Like that is probably the biggest storyline, I think, in LA, probably, I would say. Man, this guy could be legitimately just shitty for you, and it's okay because he's making league minimum. Or he could be one of the best pitchers in baseball, and that's crazy because he's making league minimum. So there's almost no negative to this guy, and I don't know. It's just wild.
And I do think that Yamamoto is going to steal the headlines in the end. I think him having a year under his belt, even though he did miss time, but he looked fantastic at the end of the year. In the playoffs, he looked really great. And so now that he knows what the season's about, how, you know, everything, more comfortable, I do think he's going to steal the headlines. Even from Ohtani, I think he's going to have a great year. Like, I'm going to put my money down on Yamamoto having a great year this year. Like, it's crazy because there's so many good guys in the rotation, and you could be like any of those guys easily, even Snell, because he's, you know. But I don't know. I think Yamamoto, and he's so young, dude. I don't know. I think he's going to have a great year.
Yeah. Or he's going to get taken yard by Bryce Eldridge, which that is my first spring training topic. The Bryce Eldridge situation, I think we've talked about it in length plenty of times. About how should this guy just be called up? Should he make the opening day roster? Is he ready? Is he not ready? What's the deal? Does he start in AAA? I think it's very early in spring training to really tell where he's at. I mean, day one, he hit a 450-foot home run to dead center, and you know I'm screaming to give him $150 million right now. Fuck it. And then
he made you forget about Alonso for a bit, right?
That's what I'm getting into, right? Because now if you hear Giants Twitter talk and, you know, what the Giants are saying, they're like, whoa, let's slow it down. You know, we don't even know what he's like on defense yet. And it's like, but you're not putting him at first base in spring training right now. Like, why aren't you doing that? He's only been DHing. And then it's like, you know, like, we don't. He's only played a week's worth of AAA games. Let's slow it down. And it's like, okay, if we're slowing it down, you're having talks about him starting in AA. Why the hell are you not signing a good first baseman when you have an opening? Because you're like, oh, we don't want to block Bryce Eldridge. That was the storyline, and now you're saying, oh, everyone calm down. Let's not rush this guy up. Let's not. You're the one who said his bat is ready right now. That's all the reports. Oh, the Giants feel his bat is already ready. He's ready to go. And then now people are excited because he hits a home run the first day of his first spring training at bat, dead center, 450 feet. And then you're like, whoa. Let's calm it down. Let's not get crazy here. Say, okay, then sign. You should have signed somebody.
But I thought you said they were still going to manipulate his time. Like, I thought that was always going to be the.
I'm sure they would, but I'm sure they will. But I mean, you only have to hold them down for 2 weeks.
Hey, man, at least you're not the Padres signing Yuri Gurriel when you know you employ Yu Darvish.
Yeah.
What a tone deaf move, dude. Like, at best, he would be like a bench piece, right? At best. Right. And at worst, you just insulted your, like, not your best pitcher, but, you know, you're probably most highly regarded in the clubhouse. And
apparently he was cool with it. Remember, they said, oh man,
I think he's such a nice guy, dude. I think he's such a nice guy that he wouldn't have said anything. I know this is old news, but like, you know, at least you're not that. So, yeah.
Which is it's a strange thing to put on Yu Darvish too, to be like, hey, is it cool if we do it? Like, what's he gonna say? No.
What is he gonna like? No, I don't want the team to potentially get a little bit better or whatever it is. Right. Like, if it helps, like, That's such a stupid question.
So much other things happened from 2017, obviously, with the trash can scandal, and just so much time has passed. I forgot about it. When they were like, Yu Darvish says it's okay that the Padres signed Yuri Gurriel, and I'm like, why does he have a problem with it? And then it kind of hit me. I was like, once I said it out loud, I was like, what? Why would he ever? And I was like, oh yeah. It's been a while. Some other scandals have happened. So
I forgot he was still in the league. I didn't even know. So that was.
Yeah, he was dying over there in Miami. So.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. What's the second thing you're most excited to watch in spring training?
It sucks because it was still pitching. It was Bobby Miller. When I heard that, Blake Snell, he was talking to him like he wanted to take him under his wing, and he's like, I just see a lot of myself in him, and him being erratic, got to play without control, and stuff. I don't know, stuff that he can relate to, and thought he could help him with, and then he got hit in the head. A scary scene, dude. But I guess he seems he was fine. Came out of it okay. He said he was. I think I saw that he was pitching today or trying to throw today. So. I hope he comes back. Like, it's going to be really hard for him to crack the rotation, even if they did go to 6 starters. Like, you have too many guys in front of you. You have Gonsolin, you have May fighting for a spot. You have, a lot of guys. So, I don't know, but I was hoping that he'd trend in the right direction and hopefully, because we've seen him at his best when that one tease that he had versus the Cardinals, he was amazing. And I'm like, oh, man, this guy's arrived. And then everything kind of went downhill from there. So, hoping he gets back to that, dude. I'm a big fan, so hopefully he comes back from this.
Yeah, it's your man crush. It's your man crush Monday. I think that's everyone has that dude that you're like, super like attached to, and if he doesn't pan out, you almost take it personally. But yeah,
which is weird because I always say like Paul LaDuca was my first the player that I loved, right? And I was like, this short, stocky dude who plays hard, has just enough power and just plays really hard. I like this dude. And I'm like, then you hear that he got traded to the Marlins of all places. And I was like, that just destroyed me. Right. So since then, it's like, I don't really get attached to players that much. Like, I try not to. It was
but then you opened yourself up again. You were ready to love again, Dave.
Then it was Walker Buehler. And I came to terms with it and being like, this is it. Like, this might be our last run, and he might leave. So I just got to enjoy, and he didn't have a good year, but man, did he do well in the postseason, and he went off pretty well. So I hope Miller has something like that. I don't hope they trade him. You never know, but I hope he pitches well, and I hope he stays because he's one of my favorite players on the team.
Yeah, you're opening yourself up to love again. You didn't know you could love again. And then, and then a guy comes into your life and changes that all. I get it. It makes sense.
Hey, yo.
Second storyline I'm really eager to watch is got to be this rotation. Who I know we've talked about it at length before about who's going to take that 5th spot. For the Giants, is it going to be Kyle Harrison? Is it going to be Hayden Birdsong? Is it going to be Landon Roop? All I know is I think this rotation is going to be better than what's perceived. I think people are disrespecting Kyle Harrison like he's just some bum when he almost lit the Giants' world on fire in 2023. And then in 2024, he lost some velocity because he injured his leg and he never fully recovered. So he lost that velocity, and now his velocity is back. I feel like he's going to dominate. And I'm really bummed they didn't sign Corbin Burns, but signing Verlander means he's going to need some time off. So you're definitely going to get a lot of innings from Hayden Birdsong and Landon Roop. So I'm excited for them to get the opportunity, especially when they're ready. It seems like the Giants aren't going all in this year, obviously. And, it's better for them to have some development to hopefully maybe they kick it up a notch next year. Maybe they kick it up 3 notches in 2027. Who knows? But, I honestly feel like they're like 2 pieces away from being legitimate contenders. And if they develop 2 of those pieces, there you go. You could just have it right there. So I think one of the two of those pieces could be Kyle Harrison or Hayden Birdsong developing into their potential, which is top of the line starters. I don't think it's far fetched. I think it's very possible. Really excited to see Jordan Hicks. I got a little man crush on Jordan Hicks because I feel like he looks like my son a little. Like when my son grows up, he might look like him. I don't know why. Some people don't see it. I see it. So I really am rooting for him to have a full year of the first 2 months of his season last year. So I don't know. I'm really excited to see basically the back five, but I'm also excited just for this full rotation to see. I don't know, for them to prove them wrong. I feel like it's better than it gets discussed. I think people like you are disrespectful, and they'll get disrespect. That's all.
We got to do a meme of one of those where it's like, hey, remember this guy? He's this old now. Do you feel old yet? And it'll be your son, and then it'll be Jordan Hicks.
Jordan Hicks.
Yeah,
that'd be good. That'd be good.
And then we find out that they look nothing like each other, like night and
day. Jesse, you're an idiot. It's you're definitely like, possible.
It's there.
Hey, you see it. You see it. Last storyline, Dave, for the Dodgers.
My last one is the bullpen. Okay. I feel like I said, I think everything else is pretty much set. I know, like, you know, they probably do have an idea of who they want to give that fifth spot in the rotation to. I think it's going to be like Gonsolin piggybacking off of May or vice versa, you know, because they're both coming off injury. Who knows? But, you know, there's more questions in the bullpen because of Phillips might be behind. Kopech might start on the IL. So maybe somebody gets in there.
What did you say about Kopech?
That he might start off on the IL. That's what they said, that they might.
Correct me if I'm wrong, please.
I shall.
But didn't Bob Nightingale say, Michael Kopech is behind, and then the Dodgers GM was like, I don't know where he got that from. He's having a normal spring, and he's normal as shit right now. Maybe he didn't say that, but that was his sentiment, that he was his normal thing, and he didn't know where Bob Nightingale got that information. And then all of a sudden it turns out to be true?
No, I just think it's because they're behind schedule. You know, they're not going to get there in time. So, you know, Evan Phillips was just throwing right now, but they also said he might start off on the IO because he is a little bit behind. So I don't know. I don't know who's right or who's wrong, but that's not the point, dude. That is not the point of it.
So you're saying that Bob Nightingale was right?
Well, Bob Nightingale was always pretty good when it comes to Dodger stuff. Like we've always made
fun of
him because but when it comes to Dodger stuff, other stuff like he might get wrong, but Dodger stuff he's pretty good on it. Like it always, if you pay attention, he's always kind of right when it comes to Dodger stuff. But anyways, back to the bullpen. Kasparius pitched today. He looked pretty solid. Michael Grove also might start on the injury on the IL, so there's another spot that, you know. So we'll see, and also we'll see how they figure it out. There's so many closers. Like any of those guys can close out a game. Trinan, Scott, Vesia. So it'll be fun to see how he once we get closer to the end of spring training, how he starts to like use them, and then we can see how they're going to be used and in what situations. But that's probably the last spot like that there's any competition or any kind of question, I would think.
Okay. I would just say still can't wrap my head around how right Bob Nightingale. Do you remember like in 2019 and 2020, the joke was like if Bob Nightingale said something, the opposite was going to happen, and like that's how it was for a while.
It was there was two parts to that, right? The first part was like if he said something that wasn't Dodger related, most of the time it didn't come to be. And also when he would say like your team is playing well, it was the kiss of death.
Exactly. Downhill. Right.
Like if he ever said, oh, the Dodgers are 9-1 in this stretch, they're just going to keep rolling. You're like, no.
Yeah.
Like, damn it, Bob. But no, when it comes to insider stuff for the Dodgers, I think he's pretty spot on for the most part.
Wow. It's my worst nightmare. Yeah.
What about you? What's your last
question. My last one. One question before we get into my last one.
Okay.
I know this is more for an off-season thing next year, but all your starters are locked up for at least like 3 or 4 years. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen when Gavin Stone and Emmett Sheehan come back? Are they just going to be traded or?
I mean, injuries happen. You know what I mean? Like Tyler Glasnow came back and he didn't have surgery, and they're hoping that what was it, just rest and stuff made it better. Like there's obviously a lot of risk also. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's always going to be opportunity. Every time we feel like we have so much pitching, you end up with the last guy you'd think of pitching in the NLDS, you know. So
I get what you're saying, but I feel like this feels a little different.
No, for sure. You have like an abundance of pitchers. Like you didn't even mention River Ryan, who's supposed to. He thinks he could come back near the end of the year. You,
right. Well, I mean, they still have
there's
options.
A couple other ones.
They still have options, and technically, I mean, I'm sure they did. Especially River Ryan did very good. But like, I feel like those guys, you can easily put them in AAA at least for the next couple seasons. But like, for Gavin Stone, who was killing it last year before he got injured, and then Emmett Sheehan, who was doing good, was it 2 years ago? And then he got injured.
Yeah, and they had to have Tommy John. I believe.
Like, I'm not saying the Dodgers did anything wrong. It's just that's going to be very interesting on what to do.
Yeah, but I think also next year, I think May's a free agent. I don't know how long Gonslin's under contract too. So there's some guys that might be traded because they're in the final year of the deal, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. I'm sure there'll be injuries, there'll be stuff, and they'll get their opportunities. If not, you got ammo to go get freaking Rafael Devers, man. Give them all the pitching they want.
Shut the
and
fuck
get
up.
Hey, man, they did it with Mookie. Let's do it. Let's do it again. Hey, you want to play third base? Muncy, it was cool, man, but we're gonna get Devers.
Yeah, Muncy is gonna go to freaking Boston.
I'm not trading Muncy for Arenado, but if we can get Devers, like, all right, do it yesterday.
Yeah, I'll pack his bags tomorrow. I get it. That makes a lot of sense, and I hate you forever. Yes.
Do you think that guy gets traded?
Who?
Or do you think they Devers? Or do you think they just settles down and he's like?
I think they figure it out. I mean, it's wild to me that this is even a conversation when Bregman's going to be a free agent again next year. Like, you're going to really disrupt your clubhouse and your franchise player. The only guy that you decided to give $100+ million to, you're like, hey, the last regime gave you that money, so I'm gonna need you to come off third base for 1 year.
What a weird answer, right? What a weird answer. You're like, they promised him that he was gonna play here. They're not here, right? Like, yeah. You're the manager, dude. Like, it's not on me.
This is so wild. We didn't even talk because last week we ran to some things. I had a little vacation plan that we forgot to get in, so we did miss last week. That's why we're doing 2 times this week. We are still going to be here on Thursday. So, but yeah, we didn't talk about it because it's been that long. So that situation. Do you think, whose side are you on? Before we get into my last spring training thing, we just bumped into this one, so let's get into it. What is your position on this whole thing?
I'm on Devers' side on this, and I know that he's not the better third baseman. I know that he's not the better defensive third baseman, but you did promise him when you signed him here that he's gonna be your third baseman. So if there was no conversations before you signed Bregman, yeah, I am going to feel a little slighted. I am going to feel like, nah, dude, this is my position. You signed me to this. If nobody talked to me about like, hey, would you consider moving if we signed this guy? If that never happened, then yeah, I'm on his side.
Right. Obviously, they couldn't have, because then he wouldn't have been blindsided. I think a lot of people are trying to paint Devers as a bad teammate for not being like, all right, guys, I'll DH. When it's like, it's a lot different to be like, all right, I'll go to first base for a year, because at least you're still playing every day. Going from the field to DH is such a big transition. Not only is it a transition mentally, which I think maybe be more of a side concern, because I think you can, if you're someone like Rafael Devers, he'll get over it and he'll figure it out. But if Devers ever wants to be a Hall of Famer, if Devers wants to potentially win an MVP, that sort of thing. You can't be a DH. Like you can't do it. The DH MVP happened 1 year, one time, and it was just happened because it was a 50-50 season.
Who was it?
Some bum, some like degenerate gambler that like really screwed over his.
Oh, so friend, they just give those awards to just anybody, huh?
They give those awards to anyone, honestly, nowadays. I'm pretty sure I got one back here somewhere. So
and that's his team too, right? Like, it's not. I don't think it's Bregman's team. That's Devers' team.
He's still gone in a year. He's gonna be gone next year.
Exactly. So like that's his team. Like I don't.
Yeah. You tell Bregman, hey,
I completely understand why he'd be,
you're playing second base, dude. I'm sorry, but you're playing second base. Like that's just the way it is. Like, oh, look at this prospect you got. Okay, it looks like your prospect's playing DH. Or you're going to do one of those DHs that's just everyone has a day off and your prospect's playing second and third. Or second and let Bregman play second and third. And basically be like, you have a Yoshida play, have DH, and then be like, then it's your prospect, then it's Bregman, and then it's Devers, reset, do this all over again. Like, and then you have Bregman move all over the field.
And I don't have a problem with them wanting to move him. I think it's just the way that it's been handled. Because if they're like, hey man, this makes our team better. Like you're still gonna, or like you said, play first or whatever, but it makes us better defensively, and we're just better. And then if he doesn't want to do it, yeah. But at that point, if he doesn't want to do it, then it looks bad on him. But yeah,
I don't know. I can't see it looking bad on him when you're going from like, hey, you're the third baseman. Here's this 13-year contract, and you're going to be here. That's the deal. Boom. I'll take a discount if I get to play third base. Cool. And then 2 years later, oh, hey, got a chance to get Bregman, huh? So I'm gonna need that third base glove really quick. And you're like,
no, but apparently that didn't even happen. It wasn't like, hey, we have a chance. It was like, hey man, so this guy's here.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, hey man, so this guy's here. We need you to move. But
that's wild. That's so wild. So wild.
Give me your last thing that you're excited about.
Last thing I'm watching for in spring training is who's gonna be the lefty. Who's the lefty? And what am I talking about? Am I talking about the bullpen? Am I talking about the bench? Both, Skip. BOAF. Both. Both of them. The Giants only have one lefty in the bullpen at the moment, and that's Eric Miller, Shohei Ohtani's daddy. And I think he's a week behind as well. And it's basically Joey Lucchesi, he has a job. I feel like he's the guy for the bullpen. I'm excited to see him. From what I understand, when he went to the bullpen for the Mets, things turned up. It looked a lot better. So I think that he has the second lefty position out of the bullpen. There is a couple of guys. There's, some prospects that could come up. There's a guy who came up for like a day that I completely forgot about, Raymond Burgos. And I don't even remember him pitching. Like he came up.
Giants legend Burgos. You forgot him?
Yeah,
you forgot about Giants legend Burgos. Wow.
Yeah, I completely forgot about him. But I mean, he's there, so technically you could give it to him. I don't know, but I think Lucchesi and hopefully Eric Miller's not hurt. If he's hurt, I maybe they're just gonna have to run with all lefties and just have Lucchesi. But also, there's this lineup is very right-handed heavy. You only got Wade and you got Jung-Hoo Lee. And not only that, I think Wade's more of a platoon situation anyway. So you're going to need a lefty on the bench. And I think it's between two guys. I mean, technically Jake Lamb is there, but if Jake Lamb is on this roster, I'm going to throw a big tantrum. Like I'm going to run into the field at Oracle Park and just cry, or throw just one of those wedding crashers where I'm going to hold my breath and stomp my feet. I don't know what else to do, because why would Jake Lamb make the roster? I don't know. I don't want to get upset.
First of all, even if he made the roster, he's probably a bench player, so who cares?
Well, he would be, but still, he has no business being on the bench. You know who has business being on the bench? Brett wisely, because at least he is a good defensive player. So you got that in a bench piece. That's really important. And he's came up had a couple clutch moments, walk off against the Dodgers last year. I'm sure there's another one another time. I just don't remember it, so it doesn't really matter. But also, batting champion of like the minor leagues. This guy is like Luis Arias light, especially because he sucks at defense as well. Wade Meckler. This guy is a contact heavy dude. I think he would be great to have on the bench to get, come in a pinch hit situation. The problem is he's a terrible outfielder, and they want to try him at second, which I'm not sure if they're going to or not, or So I honestly prefer Wade Meckler. I've been following him for a while. The guy just hits everywhere he's been. I think he does have the potential to be a Luis Arias type, to just be a singles extraordinaire. And that'd be a good bench piece. It's not a guy that you're going to put the future on, so you don't have to worry about getting him constant ABs and constant reps like Luis Matos and Bryce Eldridge and Marco Luciano when they come up, all that sort of thing. Wade Meckler is a guy that you can just move around, and it'd be a nice lefty off the bench. So that's the only thing I'm looking at. What's the lefty that's hitting right now? Or what's the lefty that's striking out and getting innings in the pen?
Okay, that's cool. I mean, so before we get out of here, before we're done with it, because I mean
that's cool. That's cool.
That's cool. I mean, it's not like we're talking about guys at the end of the bench. That's how that's what we're talking about right now.
We talking practice right now.
But is there any...
That's what storylines are in spring training. Not everyone has 15 all-stars on their roster, Dave.
But is there any young guys that are like the next wave that you've seen that you're excited about? Because I have one, but do you have any? Like, they're not going to make the roster this year, but you've seen them so far, and you're like, okay, yeah, it's time to get excited about this guy.
No, because the that's going to be coming up in the next year or so. It would just be Eldridge. Everyone else, I think, needs another couple year or two. But I think those guys are here right now. I think Ramos, Luciano, Matos, and Fitzgerald. It's like, what can you do up here now? Like, almost like I don't even care about minor league stats right now. Or spring training stats. It's like, can you produce at the major league level right now? And if I'm going to pick one guy, I'm going to pick Heliot Ramos, who has a for sure job in left field this year.
Well, then you're completely good. that doesn't answer my question, but sure, Heliot Ramos.
Question?
No, I get it. All your guys are up here now, so it's not really much
right. I mean, the other guys that I'm really excited about, like Walker's a couple years away. Arias is more than a couple years away. The big guys that they signed on their big international signing, like the top international prospects, are like 5 years away. So those big guys are in the future. The big guys that are either here now, or it's Bryce Eldridge, where it's most likely going to be at the end of the year this year, which we've already talked about for a while. So
yeah.
Well, you know what? I guess I could talk about pitching. Pitching wise would be maybe Landon Roop. He should be coming up in the next year or so. But he's also competing for a starting role for this year, but he probably won't get it.
Unless he has like a really tremendous...
but there would still have to be an injury. Him or Carson Wisenhunt. Carson Wisenhunt's actually a good one, because Carson Wisenhunt was drafted in 2023, and then in 2024 went from his first year in minor leagues. He dominated in AA. So he was like, if the season would have went a month long, he would have been in AAA. But then last year, he had an injury-riddled season that he basically had a bad year last year. So he was on top 100 lists and fell off because of a bunch of injuries. So Carson Wisenhunt, get his stock back up.
Yeah. You know how you were saying, we were talking about it before, how you're like, the Dodgers haven't had a prospect to come out and be like, it came from the farm system and, whatever, like a star kind of player.
Right.
I think they might have one in the near future with Zaire Hope. This kid hits the ball hard. This kid hits the ball. Every time he's hitting the ball, he's hitting the ball hard. And he had an opposite field home run, which was like crazy. He's a lefty. And then, he plays pretty good defense, man. So I'm excited about him, watching him develop, and then hopefully make the majors. I don't know how soon, but it's been fun to watch him so far.
Right.
The games are like 7-1. It doesn't matter, but you lock in when he goes up to the plate because he's the future. So with him, Dalton Rushing, and DePaula, like when those guys come up, like I don't care what the score is, like those are the future. So it's pretty cool.
You want to watch those at bats?
Yeah, exactly. So when they're on the field, that's probably the last couple guys I'm excited for.
Yeah, and I mean, Bryce Eldridge and Carson Wisenhunt, they've played in a numerous spring training games, and I would love to be like, Dave, oh man, this guy hits the ball so hard. Oh man, this guy's changeup when you see it in person, or not in person, but on TV, it's great. But the Giants don't televise their spring training games, so I can't.
Are they not going to televise any of them?
They're televising 6 of them. Now, you do also get to watch the ones against the Dodgers because they televise it. The ones against the Angels because they televise all of them. There's like 3 or 4 of them that you get to watch because the other team televises it. But it's just insane. It's ridiculous that the Giants are this big organization. They're not the fucking Rays or the A's. Like, you can afford to at least stream. Like, that should be a mandatory thing in baseball, that you have to have a video feed for your home games. So yeah, you don't want to do all of them. That's fine. At least there's an Angels feed for the Angels, or, whoever you're playing, you're at their stadium, you take it off, and, if you want to watch the game, you got to listen to their announcers. Fine, cool, whatever. But you should be televising your own games in your own stadium. That's ridiculous that we're even having this conversation.
I don't disagree with you. I feel your anger. I mean, give Jesse his baseball. He wants to watch the first 3 innings before he turns it off. Give it back.
That's right. Give me my money. It's my money, and I want it now.
But yeah, all right, cool.
It's been great, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. Like I said, we will be back in a couple days. We'll be here on Thursday. Imagine about the same time. Make sure to follow us on all your socials so you know exactly what time we're going to be here. Instagram, Benches Cleared Podcast, Twitter, Benches Cleared P, and TikTok, Benches Cleared Dave. What do you got for him?
Nothing, man. We'll be back on Thursday, we said? Yeah. And hopefully we'll do another live. It'll be exciting again. And
that'll be great. See you guys on Thursday.